close your eyes and let the story find you. You're listening to BL Nocturne. The story you're about to hear is an original work created exclusively by BL Nocturne. Please do not copy or repost it without permission. Tonight's story, Blood Moon Contract. Book 1, Chapter 1, The Crimson Prophecy. Every kingdom has a beginning. Every legend has a price. The Blood Moon returned without warning. No trumpets sounded. No messengers rode through the kingdom. It simply appeared, hanging above Illyrian, like a crimson eye watching the world below. Within minutes, the city changed. Market stalls closed early. Parents hurried their children indoors. The laughter that had filled the streets faded into uneasy silence. No one needed an explanation. Every citizen knew the old saying, "When the blood moon rises, destiny begins to write again." High above the capital, Noctis Hall stood beneath the night sky. Its windows glowed with warm candlelight. Its ancient walls had witnessed wars, alliances, betrayals, and victories stretching back through the centuries. Tonight, even the palace felt uneasy. A black car rolled through the palace gates. The guards straightened immediately. The engine stopped. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the rear door opened. A polished black shoe touched the ground. Every conversation stopped. A tall man stepped into the moonlight. Black hair, silver-gray eyes, a perfectly tailored black suit beneath a long overcoat. There was no crown upon his head. He didn't need one. Everyone already knew exactly who he was. Kael Noctis, the Alpha King, not because he demanded respect, but because he had earned it. He crossed the courtyard with calm, measured steps. No guards announced his arrival. No servants rushed to greet him. The silence itself welcomed him home. At the palace entrance, Rowan bowed slightly. "Your Majesty," Kael gave a small nod. "The council? They've been waiting for over an hour." Kael removed his leather gloves, one finger at a time. Then he said, "They'll survive another minute." A faint smile crossed Rowan's face. It disappeared just as quickly. "If only they shared your confidence." Without another word, the two men entered the palace together. Behind them, the crimson moon climbed higher into the night sky, and somewhere beyond the mountains, someone else was standing beneath that very same moon, watching. Far to the east of Illyrian, 3 days from the capital, lay the peaceful kingdom of Vale. Unlike Illyrian's towering castles, Vale was known for its gardens, libraries, and quiet streets. It was a place where people came to learn, to heal, or simply disappear. On the highest balcony of the Grand Library stood a young man named Lucian. The cool night breeze brushed through his silver-blonde hair as he gazed at the crimson moon. While others hid behind closed doors, Lucian stepped closer. He wasn't afraid. He was curious. Moonlight illuminated his face, and his blue-gray eyes reflected the strange sky above. Behind him, rows of ancient books rested in silence. Normally, the library was peaceful. Tonight, it wasn't. Something felt different. Since sunset, his heart had refused to settle. His fingers drifted to the moonstone pendant around his neck. It had belonged to his mother, and he had never taken it off. "Lucian?" The voice came from inside the library. An elderly man approached carrying an oil lamp. "Father Aldrin." keeper of the Grand Library. You'll catch a cold standing out there." Lucian smiled. "I was only looking at the moon." Father Aldrin looked up. His smile vanished. "The blood moon," he whispered softly, "is never a good sign." Lucian glanced back at the sky. "Do you really believe the old legends?" The old man stepped beside him. "When I was your age, I laughed at them." He kept his eyes on the moon. "But the older I became, the more I realized that every legend begins as someone's truth." Lucian looked at him. "You think something will happen tonight?" Father Aldrin hesitated. "I think something already has." Before Lucian could reply, the pendant against his chest became warm. At first, the warmth was gentle. Then it grew stronger. Lucian frowned. "That's strange." He held the pendant in his hand. It was glowing. A crimson light pulsed through the stone. Once, twice, 3 times. The wind stopped. The leaves became still. Even the sounds of the city disappeared. Father Aldrin stared at the pendant. His face turned pale. "No, it can't be." The light flared. A violent gust burst through the balcony doors. Books flew from the shelves. Pages turned by themselves. Every candle went out. Darkness filled the library. Then, an ancient book crashed onto the floor. Neither of them moved. Slowly, the book opened on its own. Its pages stopped on a forgotten chapter. Across the top, written in faded silver ink, were 4 words: "The Crimson Prophecy." Lucian stepped closer. He had never seen the book before. Yet somehow, it felt as though it had been waiting for him. Silence filled the Grand Library. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that made every heartbeat sound louder. Lucian stared at the ancient book lying open on the floor. The glow from his pendant had faded, leaving only moonlight. Father Aldrin stood frozen. "Impossible." Lucian looked at him. "You know this book?" The old librarian nodded. "I've heard stories about it, but I never believed it still existed." He stepped closer. "The Crimson Prophecy. It was written before the kingdom of Valerian was founded." Lucian frowned. "If it's so important, why has no one spoken about it?" Father Aldrin sighed. "Because some knowledge is hidden for a reason, and some truths are buried to protect the world." Lucian knelt beside the book. Its pages were covered in strange silver writing. "I can't read it." "You shouldn't be able to. The language of the First Kingdom has been lost for centuries." Curious, Lucian reached out. The moment his fingers touched the page, the silver letters shimmered. Then they changed, line by line, word by word. The forgotten language became one he could understand. Lucian gasped and pulled his hand back. Father Aldrin whispered, "It shows you." Lucian looked down again. The first line read, "When the blood moon returns, the forgotten path shall open once more." He continued, "The king who carries the weight of countless lives." The next sentence blurred before his eyes. Only one line remained. "Will stand before the moon's chosen." Lucian tried to turn the page. It wouldn't move. He tried again. Nothing. The rest of the prophecy remained sealed. "Why won't it open?" Father Aldrin gently closed the book. "Because it isn't time, but it let me read the first page. It revealed only what you were meant to know." Before Lucian could speak again, a deep bell echoed through the library. Once, twice, 3 times. Father Aldrin hurried to the window. 3 black vehicles had stopped outside. Each carried the same silver crest, a wolf beneath a crescent moon. Lucian joined him. Who are they? They serve the Alpha King. The king? Father Aldrin nodded. If the royal guard has come here tonight, they aren't searching for a book. They're searching for a person. At that moment, Lucian's pendant pulsed once more. Outside, the leader of the king's guards stepped from his vehicle. Slowly, he lifted his eyes straight toward the highest window, straight toward Lucian. For one silent moment, their eyes met, and without a single word, both understood destiny had already found them. Silence filled the council chamber of Noctis Hall, not because there was nothing to discuss, but because no one wished to speak first. Around a long obsidian table sat the most powerful people in Illyrian: generals, judges, ministers, the oldest noble families in the kingdom. At the head of the table sat Cale Noctis, calm, unshaken. His expression revealed nothing. The crimson moon shone through the tall windows. At last, Chancellor Viron broke the silence. Your Majesty, the Royal Observatory has confirmed it. Cale raised his eyes. The blood moon has awakened. Whispers spread through the chamber. General Cedric shook his head. Old legends. We have armies to command, not fairy tales to chase. Before anyone could reply, the great doors opened. A woman entered without permission. She wore a deep blue robe covered with silver stars. Her long white hair rested across her shoulders. Though she appeared young, her eyes carried centuries of sorrow. Every counselor stood, even General Cedric. Only Cale remained seated. The Oracle. She bowed her head. Your Majesty. Cale spoke calmly. You've interrupted my counsel. I know, but I would not have done so unless destiny itself had changed. The room fell silent. The Oracle placed an ancient scroll upon the table. This scroll has remained untouched for 983 years. She slowly unrolled it. Fresh ink appeared across the parchment. The counselors stared in disbelief. General Cedric stepped back. Impossible. The words continued writing themselves. The Oracle read aloud. The moon's chosen walks beneath the crimson sky. More words appeared. The King of Shadows must decide. Then, the writing stopped. Cale frowned. Decide what? The Oracle met his gaze. The prophecy refuses to say. Can it be completed? Only when destiny reaches its next turning point. Cale slowly rose to his feet. If someone has truly been chosen, find them. General Cedric stepped forward. And if they're a threat, no one moved. Cale answered without hesitation. We do not judge people by prophecies. We judge them by their choices. A faint smile crossed the Oracle's face. A wise king. Cale turned toward the window. Beyond the mountains, beyond the forests, someone he had never met had already changed the fate of the kingdom. Neither of them knew it. Yet destiny had already begun to move. Rain fell softly across the road leading away from the Grand Library. Wrapped in his cloak, Lucian walked alone through the night. Before dawn, Father Aldrin had urged him to leave. You'll be safer away from here. But safer from what? Lucian wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a noble. He had lived an ordinary life. Yet nothing about tonight felt ordinary. His thoughts refused to rest. Why had the pendant awakened? Why could only he read the prophecy? And why had the royal guard arrived at the library? His hand closed around the moonstone beneath his cloak. It was warm again. Not painfully warm, almost as if it were leading him somewhere. Back at the library, Father Aldrin stood beneath the stone archway, watching Lucien disappear into the mist. His voice was barely a whisper. "Forgive me, there are truths I cannot tell you." From inside his robe, he removed a small silver key, ancient, worn by time. He closed his hand around it. "They're coming, far away, inside the royal archives of Noctis Hall." Cale stood alone among shelves filled with the history of every king before him. He stopped before an old portrait hidden behind a velvet curtain. Time had faded most of the painting, but one detail remained perfectly clear: a moonstone pendant. Cale stared at it. So it wasn't a myth. A quiet voice interrupted him. "Your Majesty." It was Rowan. Without turning, Cale asked, "The search?" "Our scouts reached the eastern provinces, and they found signs of something unusual at the Grand Library." Cale lowered the curtain. "Prepare my horse." Rowan looked surprised. "You intend to go yourself?" "I do. The council won't approve." A faint smile crossed Cale's face. "They rarely do." Without another word, he walked away. For reasons he couldn't explain, he felt every moment slipping away. Meanwhile, deep inside the whispering forest, 3 hooded figures stood around a burning campfire. One placed a dagger onto a weathered map. Its blade rested over the kingdom of Vale. "The moon's chosen has awakened." Another nodded. "So has the king." The third figure picked up the dagger. "Then they must never meet." The fire suddenly roared higher. One final command echoed through the forest. "Begin the hunt." Miles away, Lucien suddenly stopped walking. A strange feeling settled over him. He wasn't alone. He turned. Nothing. Only drifting mist and falling rain. He took another step, then another. Hidden among the trees, a pair of golden eyes slowly opened, watching, waiting, following. The whispering forest was silent, too silent. Mist drifted between the ancient trees as Lucien pulled his cloak tighter against the cold. The rain had stopped, yet every step echoed through the darkness. Then he heard it again. Footsteps, not his own. Lucien stopped. "Who's there?" No answer, only the rustling of leaves. He took another step. A voice emerged from the shadows. "You shouldn't have left the library." Lucien spun around. One hooded figure stepped onto the path. Then another. Then a third. Their faces remained hidden. Their movements were calm, deliberate. Lucien's heart pounded. "I don't know who you are." The tallest figure tilted his head. "No, but we know exactly who you are." A sword slid from its scabbard. Its sharp ring cut through the silence. "We've searched for you for a very long time." Lucien stepped back. "There must be a mistake." There wasn't. The leader slowly raised his blade. "The moment your pendant awakened, your ordinary life ended." Without warning, the 3 figures charged. Lucien ran. Branches struck his face as he raced deeper into the forest. Their footsteps grew closer, closer. He stumbled over a tree root and fell hard. The moonstone pendant slipped free. A burst of crimson light flooded the forest. The hunters froze. No one moved. Even the air seemed to tremble. Far away, at Noctis Hall, Kale suddenly looked toward the eastern horizon. He felt it. Not fear, not magic. Something ancient had awakened. He turned sharply. "Rowan, yes, your majesty? Saddle my horse. Now." Back in the forest, Lucian slowly lifted the glowing pendant. Its crimson light spread through the trees. The hunters stepped back. One whispered, "It's really him." Before Lucian could speak, a wolf's howl shattered the silence. Once, twice, then nothing. The leader's face filled with fear. "No, he's already here." Lucian frowned. "Who?" No one answered. Every hunter stared into the mist, waiting, watching. Then a lone figure stepped from the darkness. His face remained hidden. Only a pair of silver-gray eyes caught the moonlight. Lucian had never seen him before, yet something about those eyes felt strangely familiar. The stranger spoke only 3 words. "Stand behind me. Our story pauses here, but destiny never sleeps. Until the blood moon rises again, may destiny guide your path. I'll see you next Friday." Thank you for watching. Welcome to the world of BL Nocturne.